Today is one of my favorite days because we're at a racetrack, and any racetrack is one of my favorite places to be. Today we've got the RS6 out. We're going to do the very first time out on track, and it's going to be a great weather day because we're going to have some rain. We're going to have heavy rain. We're going to have sunshine in the afternoon where it's going to dry out. So we should be able to get out and experience the car in a couple of different conditions, and we're going to get into it. So first time getting the RS6 out on the track, and of course it's raining for us today, so we got plenty of rain. We're actually on a lightning delay right now, and I'm just going to take this as a chance to show you all just how configurable this display is. I mean, there's got to be more than 100 different ways to set this up. So starting over here, you've got the RS mode, which obviously we're going to be in out on track. It does have good things for temperatures of all of the brakes, as well as engine, coolant, transmission fluid, brake rotors. This is actually really helpful out on track. And then we've got some other settings here. This is just a G-force meter, and then some tire pressure monitoring. So we'll have that up when we're out on track. Options here for the virtual cockpit. This is the virtual cockpit. So this controls the basic layout, 1, 2, 3 of the RS mode. So that's like if you're going out on track, and then all of these within those basic layouts are configurable. So if we were just to kind of show you this first one, so you can see here the screen has shifted to the circle dashes on both sides, and then from there you've got a few different view options that you can go into. You can change what's here in the center, bring up lap times, different things. For me, I like this because it's a very classic display, but I'll show you some of the other ones here also. So this runway one, this one, I think it kind of looks cool. It's the one that gets the most press, but I actually don't really care for it that much. I don't like how the tack goes from top to bottom. I'd rather it go from bottom to top as the RPMs go up. So for me, this isn't great. Now, the tack does kind of flash and light up and stuff for you as your RPMs raise. And again, we can control what you're seeing here on the side screens. We can change to different views even within this setting. But I think out on track, I'm gonna go for this one, RS Performance, and that brings up this center tachometer that goes up and kind of comes across to the side. It'll light up yellow, and it will blink as your RPMs get up. What are our other options? You've got radio, fuel, different things like that, and then within that we can go in and we can actually set up different settings here on the navigation. We can change the view to full navigation if you want with just the tack. This is kind of the way that I would have it normally just driving around, but let's see. So this is pretty good. A tack in the center with lap times. I mean, that's a really good setting. A lot of people say when they find out I race cars, they're like, well, how fast do you go? And honestly, I often don't know the answer to that because I'm not paying attention to my speed. I care about my tachometer and my temperatures and my pressures. But how fast I'm going doesn't really matter. I'm going pretty much as fast as I can to maintain the balance of the car. Now, I'm going to choose to keep the heads-up display on here, so I will have speed up there in the heads-up display. But down here, I don't really need it. And I like this view, but let's just see what else we can do here. So that's starting the lap time. So we could also put in here a G meter, tire pressure, engine data, power and torque. I mean, it's just such a configurable system. There's so many menus. Reduce display. Now, I actually really like this because I don't like a ton of information. So this tachometer plus the temperatures here, I think is pretty good. So we just got in from the first session out on track, first semi-dry session. I did a session earlier where it was wet. Now today I'm just doing a lead follow. I'm out here instructing, and so I'm just doing a lead follow for some other people in the Audi club. So I'm running 60% or something like that. But first impressions of the car, it's heavy. I mean, I'd love to be able to tell you all that this car is light and nimble, but coming from somebody, I've raced cars for 10 years. Everything I've raced has weighed half what this car weighs. So this car weighs in at almost 5,000 pounds, definitely 5,000. It's good. It's heavy. Now, the rear wheel steering is fantastic. It is like a magic trick. I mean, it will rotate the car and it will turn very good. The brakes are very good. They're fantastic. Again, no concerns there. The power delivery is good. The transmission's an automatic. I mean, I love the car, don't get me wrong, guys, but it's not a dual clutch transmission. It is still an automatic, so shifts are fast, but they're not like race car fast. They're not like, I want to be out on the track fast. So I would classify this car as something that is very capable on the street and very capable doing DEs up to full HPDE level 4 if you're a NASA person or an advanced person. It's fun. It's a blast to have out on track. But first impressions would be, yeah, it's a big, heavy car. Lots of power, lots of brake, lots of steering with the rear wheel. It's just like everything on this car is a sledgehammer. It's not super precision. I had no issues with anything on temperatures. All of my brake temperatures, engine coolant temperature, I think I saw oil get to about 240. I would say it's around 90, 95 degrees today. So oil got to 240 or so. I'm gonna go out again with the advanced group and see how much, you know, hotter. I'm definitely gonna get the car a lot hotter. So we'll see what happens in the next group out, and I'll catch you in the next session. I'm gonna turn everything off for this session. Stability control full off. I wanna play around with the car a little bit, see if I can get it to rotate, and just see how it behaves a little bit closer to the edge.
I'll take you through one lap here at Atlanta Motorsports Park, and I'm going to stay pretty quiet because I want you to be able to hear how good this factory sport exhaust sounds after about a 1,500 mile break-in. It definitely has been getting louder over time. Constant radius turn here, pretty balanced, no terrible understeer or anything like that you normally would get. This turn, a good place to get some throttle on oversteer. Stepped out a little bit in this car but grabbed really fast. Right here the car got quite unsettled. I'll mention that later in the video. And again, right here somewhere where you normally would get understeer, downhill, off camber, just the car wants to push. But this car, the RS6, did pretty well for an Audi. It was pretty well balanced. Even through this constant radius turn, it was just, it was rotating nicely.
All right, I just got in from being out in the advanced session. I went out last. I had about 5 cars I had to get through, and then I had open track. I was able to get to know the car a little bit, explore it. This car will catch your attention on track. It is, so let's talk power first. 590 horsepower. It's a lot of power. It's more, I was able to easily pass all these other stock and chipped cars out on track, just using horsepower, so no issues there. But it's not like blow you away fast, to be honest. And again, that goes back to the weight of the car. The turn in on the car is really good. With everything off, the car will dance. It will move around. It will get light coming over turns, and it will kind of, you know, if you've ever been out on track, it'll get light and it'll kind of do one of these. There was one spot on track where it was off camber over a hill, and it was a little unnerving because the car got really light. And then it settled, and when it settled, it shimmied, and that's fine. I'm used to that racing, but the difference is when this car settles, it's like settling a boat. I mean, it's a big, heavy car, so it doesn't shimmy and settle. It kind of continues to shimmy as it settles, and you can feel the weight of the car grabbing, and you don't have a ton of traction in that period where it's shimmying, so you just got to be aware of your speed and not going so fast that, you know, you're still kind of dancing when you get to your next braking zone, because that's not going to be the best place to be in. Turn-in was great. I didn't have any issues. I didn't feel understeer in the car. It's a lot more balanced than my B5 S4 race car was in terms of, you know, understeer versus oversteer. I would say it's pretty equally balanced. So coming through turns, I could floor it coming out of the turn, and the differential and the torque vectoring would take care of that for me. Occasionally I would get some throttle on oversteer, but it was like the smallest amount. But you know, more beneficial to me, something I'm happier about, is I didn't feel a ton of understeer. Now, the tires got hot, so I'm gonna show you all here. I did not air down my tires at all before I went out. So I went out at 35 PSI on the tires and ended up at 49.5, and it definitely got greasy. It definitely got hot. I did not see any issues with oil temperature. See, I've already come down to 228. When I was out on track, I did see 254. In terms of all of this, you can see, I mean, I got the brakes up into, what is that, yellow green. So cold is blue, warm, hot, overheated. Nothing went red. You can see the sport differential did come yellow, and it's kind of got that little drawing around the outside of it, which I'm guessing that drawing means, hey, this is getting closer to being hot. But I didn't have any issues, and I was out on track for 30 minutes. Overall, I hope you all enjoyed this. The car's a blast on track. As I've said, it's big, it's heavy, it's a bit of a sledgehammer, but for something that can haul all my kids, I can throw a dog in the back, it looks great, it's got utility. I mean, this is it. This is the all-around car. It's in an elite category in more areas than any other car that I can think of, and that's why I bought it, and I'm super happy with it.